Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something super interesting, the literal architecture of the human body. We're going to completely reverse engineer the blueprint for building a highly aesthetic, powerful upper body. And look, we're not just talking about doing a few random push-ups and, hoping for the best. We are breaking this whole thing down into three core pillars: the actual math that defines an athletic physique, the specific body weight biomechanics you need to build it, and the genuinely fascinating sleep and nutritional science that glues the whole shebang together. Okay, let's dive right into this number, 1.618. You might actually recognize this as the golden ratio. It's a number that pops up everywhere, literally from the spirals of galaxies to ancient classical architecture. But when we're talking about fitness and human biomechanics, this specific number is the absolute mathematical target for that classic V-taper silhouette. It's the exact, literal proportion that visually signals to the world you have a powerful athletic build.
So the crucial point is, how do we actually hit that number? It all comes down to your shoulder to waist ratio, which is simply your shoulder circumference divided by your waist circumference. This simple arithmetic right here serves as the ultimate visual goal for our physical architectural project. Basically, everything we're about to cover, every single thing we do in our training and recovery, is completely engineered to optimize this one specific equation.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, the V-taper math. Number 2, building 3D shoulders. Third, mastering the pike push-up. Fourth, fueling muscle recovery. And finally, number 5, nutrition for restorative sleep. Section 1, the V-taper math. I want you to think of this like the architectural rendering of a massive skyscraper. Before you pour a single drop of concrete, you absolutely have to know what the facade is going to look like, right? And you need to know exactly which levers to pull to get there. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. As Gainframe points out, it's just arithmetic. But here's the thing. Most people fall into this massive trap. They end up starving themselves, grinding away on endless treadmills just to shrink their waistline. They're focusing entirely on the denominator. But to truly manipulate this mathematical lever and get that powerful look, you have to actively build physical shoulder width. You've got to increase the numerator. Section 2, building 3D shoulders without gym equipment. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how the shoulder is deconstructed into 3 distinct three-dimensional structures. You've got the front, side, and rear heads of the deltoid, and we've mapped them directly to some highly specific progressive bodyweight exercises. For the front head, we're looking at the pike push-up. Then for the side head, which is absolutely crucial for giving you that actual width, we use a wall lateral raise, where you leverage your own body weight right against a door frame. And for the rear head, we're using a bedsheet row or fly. So you definitely don't need heavy dumbbells for this. You just need a really solid grasp of the mechanics of each muscle fiber. I really want to highlight the rear delt for a second here, mostly because it gets incredibly neglected. But honestly, it's the absolute secret to that rounded, pop-out 3D look. The rear delt's main job is simply pulling the arm behind the body. So when you're doing those bedsheet rows to target this area, there's a vital biomechanical cue you've got to nail. Keep your elbows high, right at shoulder level. Seriously, if you drop your elbows even a bit, your lats will just completely take over the work and those rear delts miss out entirely. Moving on to section 3, mastering the pike push-up, our ultimate vertical pressing tool. So here's a big question. How exactly do you progressively overload a muscle when your body weight is totally static? Well, you change the angle. It's that simple. Step 1 is the hands elevated pike push-up. This is perfect if you're a beginner because it significantly reduces the load. Then step 2 is your standard floor version. And step 3, that's feet elevated, which shifts massive, intense tension straight onto those shoulders. But here is the golden rule you cannot ignore. Once you can cleanly hit 30 reps on one step, you literally must graduate to the next level. That's how you continue maximizing that muscle growth. Now, execution is absolutely everything if you want to increase that overhead pressing strength safely. So definitely listen closely to these biomechanical cues. First, you're going to start in an inverted V or a downward dog shape. Next, you lower the absolute crown of your head directly between your hands, not behind them, between them. Make sure to lock those elbows at roughly a 45-degree angle. And critically, and I mean critically, do not let your hips drop. If those hips drop, well, you've just turned the whole movement into a standard push-up. Oh, and if your elbows flare out super wide, you're placing tremendous, completely unnecessary stress right on the shoulder joints. Clean, perfect reps are the absolute priority here. Okay, section 4, fueling muscle recovery, the biological foundation. This is where we shift gears a bit and look at the hidden mortar of our architectural build.
Take a look at this nutrient data. It really highlights some vital recovery needs. See, rigorous training causes literal microscopic damage to your muscle fibers, and it completely depletes your glycogen stores. The workout itself, that's just the stimulus. It's an actual biological fact that your muscles grow while you're in bed, not while you're grinding on the mat. So nutritional recovery is completely 100% mandatory if you actually want those shoulders to repair, expand, and finally hit that V-taper math we talked about.
Now, timing plays a massive role in all this, and we really need to contrast two distinct nutritional strategies. First up, you've got your 30 to 60-minute post-exercise window. This is the exact moment your body is practically begging for protein and carbohydrates so it can immediately halt muscle breakdown and kickstart the repair process. But contrast that with your pre-sleep nutrition. The goal there shifts completely. Before bed, it's all about getting tryptophan and complex carbohydrates into your system to regulate melatonin and ensure you're getting deep, highly restorative sleep.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 5, Nutrition for Restorative Sleep.
Let's move to and see how this builds our sleep foundation. The science puts a huge, critical spotlight on micronutrients here. For instance, magnesium. It's absolutely vital for muscle relaxation and regulating melatonin. Yet surprisingly, intense athletes frequently suffer from low magnesium levels, which is exactly what leads to those awful midnight muscle cramps and super fragmented sleep. Then you have vitamin D, which is directly linked to muscle repair and bone health. And of course, antioxidants. These guys are crucial because they neutralize the free radicals produced during your intense bodyweight sessions, drastically bringing down your overall oxidative stress and soreness. And right here is basically the magic chemical formula for a perfect night's recovery. Complex carbs plus tryptophan. When you eat tryptophan-rich foods, think turkey, eggs, or even pumpkin seeds in the evening, and then pair them with complex carbs like sweet potatoes or oats, you are biologically signaling your brain to just wind down. The carbs literally drive the tryptophan straight into your brain. The result? A massive surge of serotonin and melatonin, giving you incredibly deep, uninterrupted sleep. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. So, after all that, we arrive at the ultimate question. You have the math of the 1.618 ratio down. You know the exact mechanics of the pike push-up and the bedsheet row to build up that physical scaffolding. But remember this one absolute truth. The late-night snack you choose tonight actively dictates the muscle you're going to wear tomorrow. So what's it going to be? Will you build your foundation through disciplined recovery, or are you going to sabotage your own architecture before